What is good, YouTube? I hope you guys have all had a fantastic and beautiful Sunday. I hope you guys had time to spend with God today. If you didn't, guess what? We're gonna spend some time with God just like we always do. In the meantime, before that, I want to say thank you guys. We finally hit 80 subs. We're pushing that 100,000. We're pushing that 100 subscriber mark. One day, hopefully, 100,000 subscriber mark. But yeah, let's hop into our Bible study for today. We're going to be taking a look at Matthew 18, verses 21 through 35. It is the parable of the unforgiving servant. Then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times. Therefore the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants. When he began to settle, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. And since he could not pay his master, he ordered him to be sold, with his wife and his children, all that he had, and payment to be made. So the servant fell on his knees, imploring him, Have patience with me, and I will pay you everything. And out of pity for him, the master of that servant released him and forgave him the debt. But when the servant went out, he found out one of his servants, who was walking the streets, owed him 100 denarii, and seized him, he began to choke him, saying, Pay what you owe. So his fellow servant fell down and pleaded with him, Have patience with me, and I will pay you. He refused and went and put him in prison until he should pay the debt. When his fellow servants saw what had taken place, they were greatly distressed, and they went and reported to the master all that had taken place. Then his master summoned him and said to him, You wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you pleaded with me. And should not you have the same mercy on your fellow servant as I had mercy with you? And in anger his master delivered him to the jailers until he should pay all his debts. So also my heavenly Father will do to every one of you, if you do not forgive your brother from your heart. So this is now what I wrote down as the takeaways from this parable. In this parable, the king is God. We are the servant that asked for grace from the king, but didn't show grace to their servant. Your forgiveness to people shouldn't be limited. Jesus' forgiveness to you is boundless. Therefore, your forgiveness to others will also be boundless. Jesus keeps no records of wrongs, so should you. Jesus says to forgive the same person 77 times. And in other translations it says 70 times 7, meaning 490 times. Jesus knows the likelihood of one person sinning against you 490 times is very low. But the point of the parable is you shouldn't be keeping track of how much someone hurts you. Show them grace just like God would show you grace. Alrighty. Bible study is now completed, and it is now time to hop in the charts. So I will see you guys in 1 second. Alrighty, y'all, with the Bible study now complete, let's take a look at our charts for this week. Right now, I've got 3 pairs that I'm keeping my eye on for my A+ setups this week, and 3 pairs that I'm also on the fence about that I'm not really sure if I'm going to take or not. But we'll top into it. Let's take a look. So, first things first, my number 1 pair for the week is Odd New Zealand. We had this on our watch list last week, but we had news come out and we missed our entry. So this week, if we take a look, starting on the weekly time frame, we can see that the weekly is bullish. Why is that? Let's take a look. Take our Ray tool, and we can see that we're making higher highs and higher lows in here. We shifted bearish right here when this low was broken. Then this became our low, and this became our high. Our high was broken, so now this becomes our high and this becomes our low. We do not care what price is doing in between these two things until one of our lines is broken, so therefore the weekly time frame is bullish. Awesome. Now let's take a look at the daily time frame and delete our 2 Ray tools. We can see that price shifted bearish down in here after we broke this low right here, and then price shifted bullish after we broke this low here. This high right here, broke this high. So now this becomes the new higher high. This becomes the higher low. Then our high is broken again, so now this becomes our high. And this becomes our low. Beautiful. So the daily time frame is bullish. Beautiful is exactly what we want. We want the daily and the weekly time frame in sync. So if we take our trading plan out, we can cross a few things off, can't we? So we cleared our chart in the beginning, and obviously I'm not going to do it now because then I would have to redo everything. But we found our trend on the weekly and the daily time frame, so we can go ahead and delete these two. And we can delete the third one as well because we're looking to trade those two in sync. We found our support and resistance on the daily time frame. Right here we've got resistance, support, resistance, 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 support, 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 goes on and so forth, right? So we've got that down, so we can delete that as well, which is beautiful. Let's go ahead and delete that. Bang. Now we're waiting for price to close above, which is already done. We can close above our resistance area, so we can take that off as well, which is beautiful. Trade is coming along. We had price retest our area of interest as well, which is also beautiful. So now we can close that off. Once price is retested, wait on the 1 hour for 1 hour rejection candlestick. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see what we've got cooking here. What can we see? We've got rejection candlesticks. Just beautiful. This also is moving sideways, which is exactly what we want to see, right? So now we can draw our consolidation box. So let's go back and cross the stuff off again. See what next we can cross off, right? Let's drag this over. So price on the retest, bang. After you see this, draw your consolidation box. We drew that as well. Now we're waiting for price to break out of this. So we're on step 9, which is beautiful. So we're going to drop down to our 30-minute time frame, and all we're doing is just waiting for price to break and close outside of this box for us to take our to ride our TP all the way to our take profit. We know our take profit is the next daily high, which would be right here. Beautiful. So we are now just waiting. And that's the beauty of trading. So that we just got to sit patient, sit on our hands, not look at the chart until our alarm goes off. Once it goes off, we'll get ready to hop into trade for Odd New Zealand. That setup's my #1 pair for the week. Let's look at the #2 pair. Well, actually, before that, we had a comment on, I don't know if I addressed this last video, I might have, but I may have, or I may not have, but this works out perfect because it's Sunday. Someone asked me, and I'll pop up the comment on the screen here, and they asked, Babs, what makes you tell like what is going to be your #1 pair for the week? And honestly, it has to come down with how clean the setup looks. So for one, if we look at the weekly time frame, we can see that we're not consolidating, we're not showing price of like not being decisive on where it wants to go. Clearly right now it wants to go to the upside, and we're looking to ride the wave for it to continue to go up. We had this big push up last 2 weeks ago, and now last week we tried to come back down to retrace a little bit, and we pushed up, and then we settled back down right here. And on the daily time frame, we are pushing up to the upside, looking to hopefully take out these highs to continue pushing higher. The second thing that I really like is we have 0 news for this week on Odd New Zealand, so I'm not worried about my trade potentially getting wicked out when news comes out or something along the lines of that. As price continues to go and it breaks out of my consolidation, it's either I was right or I was wrong, and it wasn't like news took me out of the trade, you know what I'm saying? So I really like that. That's why it's one of my #1 pairs this week. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. So now we're going to take a look at Odd Chef. And on this pair, let's start on the weekly here and mark us out, right? So price was going bullish here. This was our low right here. And then this would be our high, right? Price then took out our low. So then this is now we shift bearish. So now this is our low, and then this becomes our high. And now we don't care what price is doing in between these. We just want to wait to see when one of ours is broken. So right now none of that's happened, so our weekly time frame currently is bearish. So now let's take a look at the daily time frame. Same exact scenario here. price was bullish here after we took out this high, right? So this was our high, originally our high. Price takes that out, so now this becomes our high up here, and then this becomes our low. Price is taken out again, so now this becomes our high, then this becomes our low. What happens? Price breaks below our low, so now we are bearish on the daily time frame. So we have both our time frames in sync, which is beautiful. It's exactly what we want to see. So then now we need to draw our resistance area. Right now we've got support, resistance, 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 a gap, but not gonna really count that. Support here, resistance, all of this is resistance, and we've got some support, and then it looks like we have support over here as well. So beautiful area of support and resistance. Clearly price respects this area, and every time we're below, we're selling. Every time we're above, we're buying. It's beautiful, looking great. So now we're going to find our daily take profit. Where is that at? The next recent low, right? Let's go ahead and draw a line to that. Beautiful. Now let's take a look to see what price is doing after we broke and closed outside our area of interest. We came back and retested, which is beautiful, exactly what we want to see. And another thing that I really like about this pair is we are consolidating on the daily time frame. That means we are not pushing up. The price wants to hold this area, and eventually when price breaks, it's just gonna collapse and fall. So if we take a look at the 4 hour, we see that we're consolidating here on the 4 hour, drop down to the 1 hour. What do we see again? We're consolidating, and what else do we see? A beautiful left head, right shoulder. Beautiful. Exactly what we want to see. We're going to see the break and then the retest of our box for us to then take a sell to the downside to confirm the head and shoulders on the way down. And we have a solid 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. Looking forward to this trade. I think this trade has a very, very high probability of us going to the downside. I mean, we've got an even better look at our left head, right shoulder on the 4 hour here. I mean, look at that. Left head, right shoulder. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So all we're doing is sitting on our hands and waiting for price to close outside of our consolidation box. This honestly may be ready for London session tonight. And if that's the case, that'd be awesome. Take our first trade for the week. So between Odd New Zealand and Odd Chef, those are bouncing in between my number one pairs for the week. Number one, number two. My final pair is NZD USD that I'm looking at. So if we do the same exact thing here, what do we see here? Price was bullish after we took out this high right here. Price takes that out, so now we go bullish right here. So that becomes our high, and this becomes our low. Price takes out our high again, so now this is our high, which that's a gap, so we'll put that right there. And then this is our low. Our low is taken out, so now we are now bearish on the weekly time frame. Beautiful. Let's take a look at the daily time frame, seeing what we're looking at. And obviously you can tell that we are bearish because we were making higher highs and higher lows in here. So this became our high. This became, that became our low, and this became our high, another gap, but price takes out our low. So now this is our low down here. That's our high, our low was taken out again. So then now this is our low. And then this, please let me take that. Thank you. That is now our high. The only thing I'm a little bit iffy about this pair is that if price decides it wants to pull back into our zone here, right, and we close above this, then our daily time frame would be bullish, and obviously we would no longer be looking to sell off this pair. But nevertheless, it's still a great setup. It's looking good. We're just obviously sitting on our hands waiting for a retest, which is what we have not gotten yet on the daily time frame. We've broken and closed outside of our area here, but we have not had our retest of our area of interest. And then some of you guys may say, Baz, well, you kind of broke and closed outside of here. Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, we want to see price clearly breaking it, not just barely closing outside of it. You know, we want to see a clear break and a clear retest, showcasing us that, hey, price is looking at doing this. You know what I'm saying? So those are our three pairs that we are actively looking at for this week, mainly Odd New Zealand and Odd Chef. But let's take a look at our blue flags. As always, the pairs that if my three top do not decide they want to play out and we still have some blue flags left, we could possibly still take a trade for the week. My first one is GBP NZD. The reason that this one is in my blue flags is because we have 3 news time frames this week. First one's on Tuesday, the second one's on Wednesday, and the last one is on Friday. Wednesday, Thursday are really high volatile days in the market, and honestly, I don't really want to be a part of it if I don't have to. So if you take a look here, it's really similar to Odd New Zealand. Very similar setup, right? So if we take a look at the weekly first, you can see that the weekly time frame is in fact bullish. Why? We were making higher highs and higher lows in here, and then price broke our high right here. So let's just back this up so you guys can see this. We were bearish over here, right? And our high is taken out. So this became bullish. We do not care what price is doing in between our 2 lines until price breaks one of them. Price broke this one. So now price continues to be bullish. That's our high, that's our low. So on the weekly time frame, we are bullish all in this area. Beautiful. Let's take a look here at the daily time frame. Same exact thing happened. We shifted bearish right here, right? But then our high is obviously taken out. So this became our high, and then this became our low. Beautiful. Looking good so far. Again, same thing, if price closes below our low right here, we're no longer looking to take the trade. But in the meantime, it's looking good besides having news 3 days in a row, which I'm not looking forward to that, but that's why it's a blue folder. So just in case we don't even have to take it at all, you know what I'm saying? If we take our one good setup for the week, we're good. Now, I drew my consolidation box. You can see prices starting to slow down. We're starting to move sideways here. And I drew my consolidation box at the point at which, if price were to break this area, I know we would continue to the upside. That's what I'm starting to lean towards more now. It's being a little bit more cautious, being a little bit more safe with my trades, potentially not taking as many losses. So this is an area that I think if price breaks this, we will continue to the upside. Our take profit is obviously our next high, which I have it marked out as this daily here, because one, this is extremely far. If we take a look here on the 4 hour, oh wait, no, I did mark that out. I'm so sorry. That was literally our high. I marked that out. That's our high. That's our take profit for the daily time frame. So yeah, that's GBP NZD. Let's take a look at AUD CAD. This one, not as clean of a setup. Honestly, not as much of a fan of it, but it is a blue folder because both of our time frames are in sync. Let's take a look at the weekly first so we can get a look at it. Clearly you can see that our weekly time frame is bullish. Why? We can start right here. That's our high, our low. This is our high, right? Our low is broken, so now this became our high and this becomes our low. Our high is taken out, so now we are bullish. That is our high and this is our low. So our weekly time frame is in fact bullish, which is beautiful. You love to see that. Now our daily time frame is also bullish, and I'll show you why. So obviously you can tell that we are bullish. Why? Because, let's delete these two. This was our low, our high. This is our low. Obviously our low is broken, so now this is our low, and then this is our high. Our high is broken, so now this is our high. This is our low. High is taken out again. This is our high. Our low. High. Low. Low is broken. We shift bearish. Low. High. High is broken. We shift bullish. High. Low. Price has not closed below our low. So we are still in fact bullish. We came up, and this is our area of interest. We have resistance right here, resistance right here. Looking over here, more resistance. We've got some support areas up here, another resistance. Looking over here, we've got resistance, support, support, resistance. So it goes on forever and ever, right? The other thing that I don't really like is if you look at it, this really looks like a left head, right shoulder that is forming to the downside. So we've got our left shoulder, our head, our right shoulder, which is now pointing down, and the right shoulder is being formed. If you look on the daily time frame, it looks like the exact same thing. You've got a left head, a right shoulder that is now pointing down. So I do not know if this is actually going to go to our full take profit. That's why it is pair that I'm just kind of keeping my eyes on. If price decides that it just wants to consolidate on the daily time frame, then cool. Might be looking at taking this setup if my other three obviously don't play out. But I'm not the biggest fan of the left head, right shoulder. We have one news day, but it's on Tuesday. And the other thing, I don't really like CAD news because it tends to be a little more sporadic from what I noticed. So yeah, that is 80 odd CAD. Let's take our final setup of the week, which is Euro USD. As you can see, both time frames are clearly bearish. We can start on the weekly here. Price goes up and goes bullish after breaking this high, right? So this became our high, and this became our low. Then our high is broken, so now this is our high, and this is our low. We do not care what price is doing in between here. Sorry. Wait, did I mess this pair up? I actually might have messed this pair up. Wow. Bullish. Yeah, that's bullish. Let's look at the daily time frame. Oh, I'm tripping out. I am tripping out. Why did I mark this? Yeah, well, we're not even looking at Euro USD now. Yeah, I messed up, guys. Wow. I almost had that set up. Yeah, this weekly time frame is clearly bullish because of the gap. Yeah, weekly is bullish, daily is bearish. So we are actually not looking at this setup at all. So we can actually take that off. Cool. Look at that. These YouTube videos help because then, you know, I possibly could have taken this setup and then taken a loss, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we actually have only 5 pairs now for the week. So we've got just a little recap: odd New Zealand, odd CAD, odd Chef, NZD USD as our top pairs for the week. Then our backup pairs, we got GBP NZD and AUD CAD. So that is all we've got for our weekly analysis for the week. And I'm looking forward to these setups. We'll see how the setups play out. Hopefully we come out with a dub in the end, and start growing our account some more, get the funded out of drawdown, and get the personal up. I'm starting a personal account now because obviously that is how we're going to achieve financial freedom. You're not going to achieve financial freedom off of just prop firm accounts, because what happens if your prop firm doesn't pay you? You know what I'm saying? So I'm making the switch to a personal account now. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, go and leave a thumbs up on it and subscribe to the channel so we can start building a community. Finally, leave a comment on this video, any questions that you may have. Let's start bringing the community together. There's 85 of you guys now. Let's get talking, and I want to see you guys interactive in the chat, so that way we can really make this start feeling like a community. But in the meantime, I will keep you guys updated throughout the week on setups and stuff like that if we take a trade. And so yeah, that's gonna be it. So remember always that I love you and God loves you, and I will see you guys in the next video.